What a great movie. What a, I like to see it as kind of a love letter to your guys' relationship. And it did have me in, bawling at the end. um, but for you, first question I have is, were you extremely skeptical to see this come to life, or did you jump on it immediately when it was brought to your attention?
A little bit of both. I mean, because Jim Parsons was the one who approached me first about this idea, I was absolutely excited because I admire him so much as an actor, as an artist, and as a person. So I felt immediately like if I were to undertake this journey, that it would be in good hands with him. But certainly, movie making, it's such a collaborative process, and so much of it is about letting go. Uh, and to a certain extent, I had to let go of this story and share it with other people, and that's terrifying. Um, and because I'm so protective and have such have so invested obviously in the story and in Kit, but ultimately, the opportunity to have this story shared on a much wider scale, and also to work with Jim and Michael Showalter, uh, it felt like whatever risks there were, that it was worth it.
Was there rumblings going on that Jim wanted to bring the story to life, or was it a complete shock to you when he came to you and was like, I want to do this?
Complete shock. I had approached Jim to moderate a Q&A at Barnes& and Noble the week my book came out in Los Angeles, because Jim and I had known each other through me covering Big Bang Theory. We had a sort of a fun, nice rapport, and I thought it'd be fun to have the tables turned and have him ask me the questions, and he, even before reading the book, agreed to do it, which says so much about Jim. But when he finally did read the book, and so did his husband Todd, and both of them, they have their own production company, that's Wonderful Productions. But backstage in the green room, prior to walking out to do this Q&A, Todd said that they wanted to option the book. Like, he dropped out. I laughed right when we were walking out, and it floored me. It was more than anything in that moment, because it was, I believe it was the day the book came out, and I was feeling vulnerable, and insecure and unsure how it would be received, and it felt like the best kind of confidence boost at a time when I needed it the most, because more than anything, it meant that they really loved the book.
Did you stay like focused when you got out there? Because I would have been extremely distracted had that been brought on me, been like, oh, now I've got to go actually talk in front of people.
I don't know that I was focused. I don't know that I can say I focused. You might look back at that video and see he looks distracted, or he's looking off, and it's like, because that several times during that Q&A, I had to pause and be like, oh shit, that just happened on stage, trying to make sense of that at the same time as be present. But luckily, Jim was such a good moderator. Like, his question, almost too good. Jim Jim asks like such good questions. Like, he did his homework. He had a notepad full of questions. So he made it easy to stay focused and present, because his questions were so good, and the conversation was just so thoughtful, and thought-provoking.
But I have to imagine that once it was all said and done, knowing that Jim did that much effort and was that prepared, you must have felt that the movie would have been was in good hands.
Absolutely. I knew that right out of the gate, he approached the story with such love, um, and such respect, and he felt such a connection to the story. A lot of what Kit and I went through, the timeline matched up to Jim and Todd. So right down to like the year we met, and when we got married. Like, there's just so many similarities. We both, our relationship started in New York. It was it just there's a lot of parallels. So Jim felt and feels a strong connection to this story, and that connection was evident throughout this process.
For you, what would you say was the hardest part about bringing this movie to life?
Letting go. letting go of the control, the writing the book. I that was all me. It's like I didn't have to really answer to anyone else. I made all the decisions. Yes, there was a publisher and an editor, but at the end of the day, I made the call about what was in the book, what was not. I had, just complete control over it. So filmmaking is different. You have to let go a little bit. It's a collaborative process. Even though I made it very clear out of the gate that this was something I was going to remain hands-on with,
Good for you.
still, you're inviting other artists in to help you tell this story. Luckily, it was made easier by the fact that it was Jim Parsons and Michael Showalter, and just these incredibly collaborative people who very much valued my input and wanted me to be part of the process.
Were you surprised at all with the casting that joined? Because you have some A-list people in this movie.
Yeah, I was fucking surprised we got Sally Field. I still can't believe it. I watch the movie every time. I'm like, we got Sally Field to do this movie? Like, it's like I still can't wrap my head around it. It's incredible. I mean, we're so blessed, and she's so good in this movie, and I still pinch myself that she is a part of this experience.
What's it like seeing Jim Parsons play you?
It's a trip. Mostly because this is an actor that I've watched and admired I love The Big Bang Theory. It's a huge, so for him to now be playing me, even though he's playing his own version of. I think it's important to note he's not doing an impersonation of me. He's creating his own version of Michael. So never felt like I was like watching him relive my life. But I mean, what an honor to have someone as talented as him, help sort of play this role and sort of be my alter ego. It's amazing.
Would you have gone all the way back to the beginning of your career? Would you have ever thought that Jim Parsons would be stepping in to play you?
Never. I mean, so much of this I couldn't have imagined. I couldn't honestly imagine that I would ever have had the courage to write a book, and not courage in terms of like to tell an honest story or to be real with myself, but just to undertake something so terrifying. And I think one of the scariest things about agreeing to do the book was, would I be able to finish it? Would I be able to actually stick to this commitment and see it through, or would I get scared halfway and hit the exit? So the fact that I actually accomplished that and wrote the book feels really good.
Well, for my final question for you today, what are you hoping fans get from the movie?
I hope they're entertained. I hope they're moved. Beyond that, I want to leave it up to them. I don't want to project any of my own expectations on them. I know as a moviegoer myself, as a huge fan of cinema, I don't like going in with other people's expectations or hopes in my head. I just want to experience it on my own, and that's what I want for them.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing your story and speaking with me today. I'm excited for everyone to see the movie.